Coming up, I'm going to reveal some daily habits that will increase your influence, professionally and personally. And then the Biden student debt plan, how it affects the economy. And then we'll look into why highly paid professionals can't seem to pay off their debt. Let's go. Coaching you to make more money and experience more meaning. I want to help you increase your income and increase your impact so that, well, Monday through Friday isn't a slog. It's a whole lot of fun, and life is too short to work for the weekend. I think you inherently know that, so welcome aboard. Let's dive right in, as we do each day. So I'm going to give you some habits, and I think there's certainly more than this, but I have attempted to streamline, to put in a bucket, if you will, some habits that if you are trying to perform these habits, these actions on a daily basis, it will be impossible not to increase your influence personally, professionally, across the board. This is exciting stuff. So here's the call out. You personal growth junkies are going to love this. All right, here we go. Habit number 1, reading or learning. I don't care if it's listening to audiobooks. I don't care if it's physically reading. I'm telling you, if you are in a daily habit of reading and learning, we could throw the word observing in here. The power of observation is unbelievably important. If this becomes a daily ritual, I'm going to learn something. It may just be one thing, maybe a few things. It may just be a subject matter that I'm continuing to digest. So again, whether it's reading, observing, watching, this, and it needs to be a deep commitment to find time. And it could be 5 minutes. It doesn't have to be 5 hours of learning. It could be 5 minutes of learning. Just grabbing one thought. I have a little ritual that I do, and I do it every day. I read at least a passage or a page or a couple pages from some book. And what I do, it's very simple. I get out my pencils. I got my pencils with me here. I got my pencils at home. And I will underline a passage in a book or in an article. But usually when I'm in a book, I'll underline it. And then I'll go to the back of the book. Alex, I've never shared this before. This is foolproof. This is unbelievable advice. So you don't have time to file and do all these things. You read something, underline it. Immediately go to the back of the book and write page 157 and write the topic of the passage that you underlined. So then what happens later, I'll go to the back of the book and I'll look at all my little notes and I'll go, oh, I underlined something on competition and it's right there on page 157. And so I've created a very simple filing system. And so if I've learned one thought and I go, ooh, that's really good, I don't want to forget it. That's what I do. So that's an example of every day learning something. Next, every day, try to connect with somebody at work, at your kid's school. And what do I mean by connect? This doesn't necessarily, again, mean a 45-minute coffee or holding them at their car or lunch date. It's just, it could be 5 minutes ago. You know what? I'm going to intentionally go connect with that person. That leads to the third tactic. While I'm connecting and conversating, I am learning to ask better questions. Let me give you an example of better questions. So your rank and file questions, nothing wrong with these questions, but they're not good questions. But your regular questions are, hey, how you doing? How's work? How are the kids? Again, those are great. Good questions. They're not great. They're good connection questions at first, right? It's just kind of, we're getting the conversation. But now we got to go beyond those questions and we ask great questions, right? And so you ask somebody, how's work going? Everything going? It's great. Hey, what's challenging you these days? Oh, now see, we've got about 5 levels deeper there. To how's work to what's challenging you in your professional life. Whoa! Now, some people are going to be very uncomfortable with this, but again, it's about them. So it's not like you're putting them on the spot. You're having a one-on-one conversation. Hey, what's challenging your professional life? Now, watch how this plays out. And I'll move through this quickly. But I ask the question, hey, what's challenging you in your professional life, your personal life? They begin to tell you. And then if you can give them some encouragement or you can equip them somehow, Oh, baby, the influence meter just went. It's going nuts because they walk away from that little conversation, maybe 5 minutes, and going, I really appreciate Ken. He just said one little thing. But by the way, I do this all the time. We were at a football dinner the other night with a bunch of parents. I asked a guy this question. He goes, well, I'm really struggling right now to figure out. I operate 3 companies, and I'm struggling right now to figure out which one needs more of me. And so I gave him one little nugget of advice. I said, try this. And this was a less than 5-minute conversation. Got a text from him 3 hours later. Dude, I got to tell you how much I appreciated that. Now my influence grew with that guy, and we're not even friends. All right. Number 4, serve. Find ways to just serve. Listen, the more helpful you are, the more influential you are. I'm going to give you that again because that's so good. The more helpful you are, the more influential you are. Because then here's what happens. People go, hey, they came in and they made a difference. And so they start talking about you that way. And when people start talking about you as a person who is a difference maker, then all of a sudden everything about your personal brand grows, thus your influence grows. Next, here's something we don't do very often, and I think we ought to do more of, and you won't believe how it grows your influence. Sharing your personal story. Now, what do I mean? I don't mean walking around every chance you get going, well, I was born at a young age and telling your whole life story. No. Sharing your struggles. Sharing your struggles, sharing your vulnerabilities, sharing your victories. And I don't mean in a bragging way. I mean, when you're connecting with others, sharing more of your story will increase your influence. Why? Because there's going to be a connection point there where maybe something you say affirms them. Maybe something you say encourages them. Maybe something you say makes them think about a situation a lot more different. Again, influence grows. And then the final thing that I'm going to recommend to grow your influence is to invest in others. Now, again, I want to break this down. This doesn't necessarily mean a financial investment. It doesn't mean you're walking around going, hey, I'd like to buy 5% of your company. It's not just a monetary investment, but you can certainly do that. You find a young person who's struggling, go, hey, I'm gonna send you away to a camp, or I'm gonna do this. That could be a financial investment. It could be great, wonderful. But I want to look at the pure usage of the word investment. If I show someone that I trust them, watch. Just as I write a check to invest money in a company, when I show someone that I trust them, leaders, listen, you want to grow your influence as a leader? Start trusting your team more. Back off, leader. Trust them. Watch what happens. I write a check for $100 or $1,000 or $10,000, and I invest in a company. I give that company my check. I say, here's some funds. Use it. I trust you. When I say to a person, I trust you, I believe in you, you got this, I got your back, go for it. It's the same thing. It's like writing a check, and it's depositing into their spirit. I believe in you. And when you do that, whoo, they stand a little taller when they think about you because they go, you believed in me. You trusted me. Influence. Oh, why do we need influence? Because the more influence we have, the more great change we can affect. Coming up, Biden's student debt plan and what it's going to do to the economy.
Do you know what you were born to do? In order to get hired at a job you love, you need to get clear on your talent, passion, and mission. That's why our team created the Career Clarity Guide. In just a few minutes, this free tool will walk you through a process to discover what you do best, that's your talent, the work you love to do, that's your passion, and the results that matter to you, your mission. Then you'll feel more confident throughout the job search process. To get started, go to kencoleman.com/clarity.
Dispensing common sense at an alarming rate. This is the Ken Coleman Show. I'll explain that statement in just a moment. I talk about ZipRecruiter every day because they're an incredible service. I was telling a few people last night about it. They're looking to make a big move, and they're like, the idea of searching is just like, ugh. I said, I'll tell you something. Take less than 5 minutes to go to ZipRecruiter.com and fill out a profile. I told him about Gabriella, who sent an email to the show saying, hey, I went on ZipRecruiter. I trusted Ken. I said, all right, I'll try it. Within a few days, I had received a call from a recruiter. I had 2 interviews with a well-known company, and I got the job. I never thought I could get a gig like this. It's what I love to do. And the cherry on top is it's a 45% salary bump and an incredible benefits package. That's a real email from one of our listeners. If you're struggling in the job search, ZipRecruiter can help. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/Ken, ZipRecruiter.com/Ken. All right. So yesterday evening, I went on the gram. It's what I like to call Instagram to irritate young people, and primarily my 3 kids. And so I just did a quick little 15-second thing on the Biden announcement that happened 2 days ago. And it's kind of gone bananas, and lots of people commenting because everybody's got feelings around facts. If you want to watch feelings explode, here's a little fun exercise for you. State a fact. Any fact. Could be a fact about the sun. Could be a fact about sports. If you want to watch people's feelings go, woo, just make a certain statement in today's world. Some people cannot handle anybody being certain about anything. I'm certain that the sky's blue. Really, Ken? Because it's actually not blue. It's a combination of this color and this color and this color, the way the sun is shining. You know? I'm confident that I need oxygen to live. Do you, Ken? Or do you need more than oxygen? Because what if you were in a hospital room and all you had is oxygen and it was keeping you alive? Were you really living? This is the kind of crap that exists in the world today. And I got to tell you, I'm done with it. So I'm going to make a statement before I go into this, and this is designed for you people. You know you. I just stepped all over your toes. You got irritated with that. I'm about ready to give you common sense commentary because my name is on the show. You go get you a show and you do your commentary. But I'm tired of speaking common sense, and some moron went after me on Instagram when I basically said, Joe Biden's plan to relieve $10,000 of debt for people, I hope it happens for those people. I do. Okay? But if you paid attention in 5th or 6th grade civics, you'll recall that only Congress, and for you knuckle draggers out there, that means the Senate and the House, only they, by the Constitution, can appropriate taxpayer dollars. Now, that's a big word for some of you people. It means only Congress can authorize spending of public dollars. This is very simple. It's in the Constitution. It's not my opinion. Some guy goes, well, Ken, I think you're right, but I don't know why you got to play politics. I'm not playing politics. There's no mention of left, right there. It's called the Constitution. All right. Now, so this is going to irritate some of you, but I'm just going to tell you what you need to understand about the economic impact here and then what really needed to be done. All right, we'll roll through this very quickly. All right. So by now, you all know $10,000 of relief is what Biden is proposing for people who make less than $125,000 per year individually or $250,000 joint income. And kind of lost in the headline was that low-income borrowers who went to college on Pell Grants would receive up to $20,000 in student loan forgiveness. For just a moment, now I would like to slow clap that one. Now that makes sense. Because, by the way, for those of you who haven't done your history, I have. So if you want to come at me, do your homework, and I'm happy to play. But the Pell Grants were the genesis of student loans. Pell Grants. And when the federal government went, wait a second, people really are going after these Pell Grants. What if we do low interest loans that we subsidize? Could we make more money? Things that make you go, like little CNC Music Factory lyric there, right? So the federal government went, wait, we can actually make a lot of money. Which, by the way, is the reason Biden only dangled $10,000 of relief out instead of going, I want to abolish the federal student loan program because it has created a tsunami of pain in the form of trillions of dollars of student loan debt. But Joe didn't say that. Why? Because no politician on the right or the left, I think, has the guts to say that because it's too big of a piggy bank for the federal government. So there you go. Why you got to play politics, Ken? I'm not. I said both parties. I'm calling out Mitch McConnell. I'm calling out Kevin McCarthy. How's that make you feel? They don't care. Now, what did Jason Furman, the head of the Council of Economic Advisors for Barack Obama, say? Good news for you, I have it right here. Now, this is Obama's guy. This really freaks out people, Alex, when you give them both sides of the aisle of opinion. Here's what he said, direct quote. Pouring roughly $500 billion of gasoline on the inflationary fire that is already burning is reckless. Now, what does that mean? I'm going to give you this in plain spoken language because Jason Furman said it. He's an Obama guy, and Biden was the VP under Obama. All right. So y'all snowflakes, turn your blood pressure down and listen to what he's saying. When you give that kind of relief, here's what that means on inflationary and raising costs of inflation. Raising inflation spikes. Here's how it happens. When you tell a bunch of people, you're going to get $10,000 of relief. A lot of undisciplined people, and that's most of the United States, because if you look at credit card debt and student loan debt, we got a lot of people who said, I'll do it. Yeah. I'll borrow some money. I'll figure it out later. And that's literally what people do. You say, I'm going to give you $10,000 relief. You know what they do? They go, I think I'm going to go buy a car. I think I'll go buy a car. I think I'll go get a loan for a car. I'm telling you, that's what happens. So what is that? Consumer demand raises. So what happens when the demand raises? Prices go up. Well, here's what should have happened. Now, this is my opinion. You folks can get very pissy over this. College tuition has soared by 167% since 2000. Since the year 2000, college tuition rates have soared by 167%. So what does that mean? It means the problem is that tuition is too high because universities and colleges are risk-free in raising tuition because they know that people will go get a student loan and they don't have to worry about getting paid because if people default on the student loan, the government's going to pay the college anyway. And that's why colleges are going, hey, let's just keep raising tuition. It's not our problem. We're going to get our money whether or not Johnny or Susie and their broke parents can pay us back or not. That's the fact. And Joe Biden also announced in the same day that he was going to push the student loan repayment date. Because keep in mind, folks, nobody in this country has paid a student loan payment unless they've done it on their own responsibility, and a lot of Ramsey people do. Well, most people haven't made a student loan payment, listen to me, in 2 years. And Joe Biden kicked the can back to December 31st, a couple months past the midterm election date. Irony? I don't know. You decide. Now, here's what I know. That's not a laughing matter. It's as serious as a heart attack. When those payments come due, whether it's December 31st of this year or sometime in the next year, and they will come due. And when they do, it is going to set off an unbelievably painful reaction because people are just putting these payments off and they think that Uncle Joe's going to pay it all off. And he just signaled, I ain't paying them all off. I ain't forgiving them. I'll give you $10,000. How's it going to affect the economy? It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt big time. Watch out.
Did you know that recruiters take an average of 6 seconds to scan a resume? And that's if they ever see it in the first place. In fact, 75% of resumes are rejected before reaching a hiring manager. Listen, folks, if you want to get hired, you've got to make your resume worth noticing. That's why we created How to Write the Perfect Resume. This free guide will walk you through the 5 steps to stand out in the hiring process to get you your dream job. If you want to get started, go to kencoleman.com/resume.
All right, folks, welcome back to the Ken Coleman Show. One of the things we love to do here is to inform you. So I'm always trying to equip you and encourage you, but many times I need to inform you. And so here we go. We got some great information. For those of you who really believe me when I say that a college degree isn't the only way to success. Can you make six figures and keep climbing without a college degree? The answer is unequivocally, emphatically, yes. I'm the poster child. I make really good money, and I don't have a degree at all. Wait a second, Ken. You mean you tell me you didn't get a degree in broadcast journalism from some fancy school? No. How'd you learn to do all this radio stuff? Well, I started doing high school football play-by-play on the internet with an 18-year-old who had no idea how to talk and put a sentence together, and nobody was listening. That's how I learned. I did start a radio show at 2 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon when 4 people were listening, one of which was Joe Hankin because he was paid to be there. The other was my wife because she wanted to say something nice to me when I got home. The other 2 people will never meet him, but I want to thank them. Joe always says, it's more than that. Yeah, but let me just be honest with you. Talk radio on a Saturday, come on. The numbers aren't high, folks. But it wasn't about the audience. It was about the cuts at the plate. So you can do it. Here we go. This is a source, businessinsider.com. 10 weird jobs that unexpectedly pay salaries of $125,000 a year or more. Okay, I love this stuff. By the way, Alex, these are some of my favorite segments. I love sharing this information. All right, here we go. In May of 2020, okay, so this is about 2-year-old data, but this is relevant, okay? The Bureau of Labor Statistics said the average salary in the United States was $56,000. And we've had such an unbelievable pay scale jump that we don't have more current data on this because it's jumping so quick and so fast. Okay, but that's about a 2-year-old. I'll bet you that number has moved up into, I'm going to take a guess, maybe low 60s, even with the increase of wages. So that gives you a ballpark idea as we lay out this list. Okay, here we go. Number 1 on the list, truck driver. The Bureau of Labor Statistics reported that the median pay for heavy and tractor-trailer truck drivers in 2021 was $48,000. But there are truck driving jobs that can pay up to or over $125,000 a year. This is according to real job listings. Walmart, for example, recently announced it was going to raise its starting pay for truck drivers to $110,000 a year. Starting pay. $110,000 a year. And look, I want to give you some practical stuff here. A training program like this, Walmart's going to train you, and they might just pay you to train you and then get you started. Next, nuclear power reactor. By the way, none of these jobs require a degree. Nuclear power reactor operator. They can make up to $132,000 to $133,000 a year. Now, these folks are controlling, operating nuclear reactors, recording lots of data, and handling emergencies. Next, makeup artist, whether that be for theater, performance. Ramsey Solutions hires makeup artists for us when we do photo shoots. And these, I always talk to these women when they're putting all that crap on my face. And they make good money because it's a specialty role. The annual wage for makeup artists median in 2021 was $134,000. Next, special agent. Whoa. I got to be careful. Some of my audience will go, "You're talking about the FBI?" Relax. Federal agents, median pay for special agents, $125,000. That's not just the FBI. That could be all kinds of these things. NTSB, the alcohol, tobacco, whatever that one is. Too many acronyms. What is that one? alcohol, firearm. That's what you know what I'm talking about. There you go. $125,000. Here you go. Petroleum engineer. Median salary, $130,000 to be a petroleum engineer. That means they're estimating oil and gas reserves along with how to extract these materials. Now, some of those jobs will require a degree. I want to point that out. So the way they said this is, I'm sorry, I misspoke. I got to correct myself, folks. Oh boy. These are different jobs that pay salaries of $125,000 more. It is not the case that they all don't require a degree, because the engineer does. I don't think the special agent or the nuclear power reactor, but some of these might, in fact. I just want to make sure that I don't say the wrong thing. But engineer, you're going to need a degree. Another one is saturation diver. Now, this is intriguing to me. Saturation divers can make over $180,000 per year. On some special projects where they're just month to month, $30,000 to $45,000 a month to be a saturation diver. I know some of you are going, well, what's a saturation diver? If you're watching, look at that guy. He looks like an alien. Like he stepped off an alien ship right there. That's quite a impressive thing. So these folks are living for 28 days in a pressurized chamber underwater. No thanks. I'm out. I wouldn't last 28 minutes in a pressurized chamber underwater. 28 days. They are inspecting and installing structures. They weld and burn structures in the ocean, conduct tests, and do maintenance underwater on underwater structures. Okay, here we go. This is getting closer to my heart. How about a golf ball diver? Now, I couldn't do saturation diver, but I could do golf ball diving. In fact, have thought about it before on my local golf course. With the amount of balls I've put in some of those bodies of water, it's worth me just getting a rental set of equipment and spelunking down there. My brain leader, Damon Gowd, threw his pitching wedge into one body of water on this local golf course. So we could go dive and get the club. It doesn't have a lot of algae on it at this point. It's only been in there about, 6 months? Yeah, that was a fun story. So golf ball divers, they can make up to $150,000 a year to go retrieve golf balls, because these balls just sit there. And some of them can earn $200 a day. It's a part-time job. I'll tell you what, Alex, you find me some basic diving equipment, and I'll go diving for golf balls. Physicists and astronomers. The median pay for physicists and astronomers, $147,000 a year. They are going to require a PhD. So this is an example. What's a PhD going to cost? From some school, you're going to go $250,000, $200,000, $180,000 in debt to then come out and make $128,000. It's not worth it. It's just not. Certified ethical hacker. Now, what in the world is this? You techies are going to love this. A certified ethical hacker, sounds like a used car ad, can make an average of $182,000 a year. They're hired by government agencies and technology companies and cybersecurity companies to intentionally hack computers and systems to find vulnerabilities. Makes me think of that last Die Hard that Bruce Willis was in. They had the young guy that, like, the government goes, hey, finds him in his mom's basement. We need you to, like, hack the bad guys. There you go. And then finally, airline pilot. And I got to tell you, you want to talk about an industry that is absolutely bowing under the pressure. It is the airline industry as it relates to pilots who are aging out and retiring. And not a lot of people are signing up to get in it. The average salary, median pay is $134,000. Now, why do I share those lists with you all from time to time? Because the human condition just believes that we're just stuck. It's so easy for us to go, well, I know there's something out there, but I don't know what it is. I don't know where to look. And I'm telling you to get your eyes up, pay attention. There are so many opportunities for you to pivot, to make really good money, whether it be full-time or on the side. So, come on, folks. You got to believe.
Did you know that just like a product, you have a personal brand? It's the image or impression others form about you based on your interactions. And whether we realize it or not, our personal brand impacts opportunities to grow in our careers. That's why our team created the Personal Brand Survey. It's free, and it will give you personal and professional feedback so you can own your strengths and uncover any blind spots holding you back. To get started, go to kencoleman.com/brand.
All right, folks, welcome back to the Ken Coleman Show. Shout out to all of our YouTubers that are watching live. I call them the YouTube crazies. They've got just an absolutely nonsensical conversation going on right now. I'm not even I can't even talk about it. I feel silly talking about it, but they're talking about it. So if you want to see what the YouTube crazies, if you're watching live, jump right in there in the chat room, and they're carrying on about my shirt and other things today. That's all I'm going to say. I'll leave it at that. You people are nuts, but I love you. Michaela's up in Jacksonville, Florida. Michaela, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi.
Hi, Michaela.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm living the dream. What's going on with you?
I'm debating leaving the job I just started.
How long ago did you start it?
It's been about a month now.
What is causing you to debate leaving this new job?
I took the job because it's like an admin position, and I do like admin work. I didn't think that the company culture was gonna like be kind of how it is, and because it's a brand new location, it's kind of like constantly evolving since we've only been open for a month. But yeah.
But what? I mean, I still haven't heard a glaring reason why you should leave after a month. Seems like things are a little bit in flux just by the nature of it being a new office. Do you think it's going to calm down? I mean, what's really driving this decision?
I'm worried that, like, I'm feeling burnt out already.
What's causing the burnout?
I think it's mostly, like, mental stress of the job. It may be partly I'm taking on too much, and I should be telling. It could be, but regardless of that, I do feel like maybe this isn't like right position but wrong place kind of thing.
Okay, and that's what I'm trying to get at. Because before you leave, I want you to know very clearly why you're leaving so that we know what we need to leave to. If we just go, oh, it doesn't feel right, I don't know, and then we just leave, then we have a greater chance of stepping into something that's very similar. That's my point. So I've heard a couple things. They're throwing a lot at you. So maybe it's not their greatest and healthiest of environments. Maybe they're a little hairy-carry, right? A little helter-skelter. You are having a hard time saying no to some stuff. So you're taking on some stuff that you maybe shouldn't take on. So that's on you. And then third, you just made a general statement about the overall culture. So it's the right job, maybe not the right place. So we call that the right role, wrong place. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, I think that's the case.
All right. So you called me what? To verify that you should do it or what?
I guess just seeing if I'm making this decision prematurely, like, is there a reason I should hang in there, wait it out, or?
Well, here's what I think. I think that it's possible that you're jumping the gun. I think it's possible. You've not given me enough details for me to judge one way or the other. So I'm kind of in a tough situation because let's say that we addressed one thing that you can control, which is you going, hey guys, I've said yes to a lot of things you're throwing at me and I'm spinning too many plates and I'm starting to feel burned out from the stress of that. I need to offload some of that. That's a comment that you should make to your leader. And then we find out if this is a really healthy culture or not. Because if that's true, that it is a unhealthy culture, they're going to go, sorry, we're just understaffed. It's a little crazy right now. I need you to buck up. And that may be true too. But you need to have that conversation because if they go, oh, I'm sorry, Michaela, I wish you had told us sooner. You're right. We put too much on you. Let's figure out what we can get off your plate. And all of a sudden, if that happens, it's arguable that your stress drops. You see where I'm going here? You got to find out if you trust these folks. And I don't think you trust them. And I don't mean trust them in like they're doing something wrong legally or unethically. I just mean you haven't been there long enough to go, you know what? Do I feel safe to sit down with my leader and go, I've said yes to too many things. I need your help now to take some stuff off my plate. That's the first step. Because you like the role itself. So yes or no question. If I were to take off a lot of the stuff that's extra that you've said yes to, would you be feeling as stressed as you are?
No, I'm not as stressed.
Okay, so here's my point. Stick it out, start looking. But I want your homework assignment is to write down what you don't like about the job and what you do like about the job. Very simple exercise. You already started it with me. Let's get 2 lists going. Let's stay where you are and have the conversation while we start looking elsewhere. Let's see if it gets better while we're looking for something better. Thanks for the call.
So you just landed the new job. Congratulations. You've made it past the interviews and now it's time to onboard with excellence. That's why I created How to Stand Out at Your New Job. This free checklist will help you succeed from day one and may even help you get promoted. These practical steps set you up to add value, help your team win, exceed your leader's expectations, and ultimately set you up for a successful transition. To get started, just go to kencoleman.com/new.
Everybody needs a coach in multiple areas of your life. I can tell you that I believe that with every fiber of my being. I love being your coach. But the reality is I can only do it for a few moments, a few days a week. But here's the good news. I have assembled an amazing group of women and men who are world-class and very, very experienced career coaches. And it's a part of our Ramsey career coaching. I've vetted all of them. I know them. They're good people. They'll help you. If you want to get started today, it is an investment that will return. I promise you. Get the right career coach for you by going to kencoleman.com/coaching, kencoleman.com/coaching. All right. John's up next in Cleveland, Ohio. John, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, Ken. So I like my job, and I'm happy with my job right now. I work remotely. It's my dream to move out of the country, though, and become a digital nomad.
Now, hold on a second. Don't assume that I know what that means. Now, what does that mean?
A digital nomad is someone who basically travels around the world and work online, basically.
Oh, okay. That's such a fun name, but it just means you work remote.
It's quite the trend nowadays, but that's my dream to move out of the country.
Okay.
I'm in my 20s and I'm still pretty new in my career, but I really like my job.
Which is what?
I'm a data analyst.
Okay, so you really can do that anywhere.
Yeah, I'm a remote position.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah. So there are 2 strategies, and I guess the strategy I think is most likely to be best is I know people later in their careers who've become independent contractors from being an employee. I wonder your thoughts in asking a corporation about making that adjustment, and I wondered your thoughts on that.
Well, forgive my ignorance, and this is true. I think I'm being a simpleton. I've missed something. You're already in a remote position.
Yes.
So what's keeping you from traveling all around the world now?
I don't know that. My company doesn't have a clear-cut policy on that.
Clear-cut policy on what?
On, they call it work from anywhere. If my company found out that I was remoting in from a different country with their equipment, I can imagine that might not be. It doesn't feel right, you know?
Okay, great. Well, then I would ask about it because I just heard they have a policy called work from anywhere, which anywhere kind of means anywhere, right?
Well, my company doesn't have Companies like Airbnb.
Oh, I'm
do.
sorry. I apologize. I heard you incorrectly. I thought you said they do have a work from anywhere.
No, they don't.
What is their policy? Work from the lower 48?
I don't think they have a clear-cut policy on that. Do you think would it raise any eyebrows if I just asked my manager if I could move out of the country working? Or do you think that's
No. In fact, I wouldn't even go so detailed as what if I move out of the country? Just say, hey, what is our company's policy on, does it have limitations on where we can work remotely? And if the manager goes, well, what do you mean? You just go, are there international limitations?
Okay.
Just an interesting question. You didn't say, I want to move out of the country. You just go, are there limitations on working internationally from working remote as it relates to an international location? And if the manager says, yes, there are, you go, okay. And why? Why'd you ask? Because I'm in my 20s and I read about these people that work abroad. And I was just curious if that was an option because I'm intrigued by it. I didn't even know if it was an option. It's just so, you're not creating a bunch of red flags is my point. I don't think it's wrong to bring it up. I think it's smart. You got to find out. Because you've got a gut feeling on this anyway.
Yeah, it's my dream.
No, I know that. I'm saying you have a gut feeling that if you were to just pick up today and go to the Bahamas, for instance, and they found out that you were there, that you've got a gut feeling they may find that weird without approval, and there's a reason for that. You know why. I don't need to know why. But you have a sense that they're going to say yes or no, don't you?
Yeah.
What do you think they're going to say?
I think they might say, oh, wow, but I don't know. I just have a good feeling that maybe it's taxes, maybe it's a company equipment, the fact that you're taking it across borders. I don't know. It just doesn't feel.
Well, so I get it. I'm such a simpleton that I'd think, what company equipment am I using that I'd have to have, and then what if I bought that equipment myself? I don't even know if that's possible.
Okay. Cool.
But my point is, for a lot of companies that are absolutely all in on remote workers, if you can get into the nuances, that gray area that you're talking about, you might find that they're cool with it. Or more importantly, I guess here's the encouragement. If you know that this is happening, then who are the companies that are okay with people that are digital nomads that are all around the world working? I'd start working for them. I mean, good grief, dude. You like doing data analytics and all that and analyzing data. There's got to be some companies that are international that have no problem with you doing it. I'd be looking for that. I would chase this dream is what my point is. You're in your 20s, brother. Now's the time. Go.
Absolutely. I totally agree.
I love the call. Thank you so much for the call. I get it that some companies don't want you to use their equipment. I get that. There might be a laptop that you'd have to get or some type of, this is way above my pay grade now. But not a bad idea. All right. Let's see. I want to go to the chat room is what I want to do. Alex, it's been a while since I've taken a question from the chat room. Boy, these people are all over the place today talking about my t-shirt, my tan, all kinds of nonsense. Who's got a question from the chat room? Is there one in here? Let me look. I am checking in here. This is kind of fun. Let's see. Oh, I see Nathan, the director, went in there and made some puns earlier. Yeah, very nice. Are there any questions here? I'm missing out on the, I'm scrolling. Oh, Ralph Mendoza asked me if I had to wear HD makeup. Well, I will tell you folks right now that I am makeup free, right now and every day. I am not wearing makeup. Let's see. I'm looking. Okay, well, the chat room is not firing questions here, so I'm going to give one more second here. All right, nothing. Okay, all right, here we go. So I want to come back to another to the topic that I mentioned earlier. Just kind of round out the show here.
We have got to, as a nation, on this whole, we've got a convergence right now. What I think is good coming from the Biden proposal is that more and more people are now starting to pay attention to the issue. You know, how many of you know that are watching right now, how many of you know that there's global poverty and there's famine all around the world? All right, so everybody goes, yeah, I know that, Ken. Like if you see some infomercial on your TV at night and you see some poor country and they're raising money for kids or whatever, in that moment, you're reminded of it, right? You go, okay, I knew this was out there. It's not a shock to me. Maybe I didn't know this country was going through this. And so I think collectively our nation knew that tuition was going up, and we kind of just part of it and we talk about it. And I think we knew that a lot of people, you know, have gotten themselves into trouble with student loans. I think we knew it. But I think what's happening now is there's going to be a collective focus on this issue. And hear me say this again. When the debt is needed to be repaid, and Biden kicked it back to December 31st. Well, you got a lot of people haven't paid a dime on this thing because they were sitting around going, hey, I think the government might actually forgive all this, and they're not going to. The $10,000 is as best as you're ever going to get. And again, I don't think it's legal. I think someone's going to challenge it. It's going to go to the Supreme Court, and they're going to kick it out, and it's going to become a political football. But here's the good news. People are going to start waking up going, is college worth the cost? The answer is no. We got to kick this tuition thing right in the teeth. This is the Ken Coleman Show.
Thanks for listening to the Ken Coleman Show. For more, you can find the show on demand wherever you listen to podcasts and watch the show on YouTube. You can also find Ken across all social media by following @Ken Coleman.